Dear chess friends, welcome once again to my YouTube channel. I'm very excited to introduce second publication of my good friend Michael Roiz, Grandmaster, well-renowned theoretician, famous coach as well. So today we are going to talk about white variation against Benko Gambit. Some people call it Volga Gambit. Now, before we move with the material, as always, I would like to mention that it would be great if you can subscribe to my channel, hit notification button, like the video, and as usual, you feel free to comment with your thoughts about this variation, maybe new proposals, what you would like to see in my future videos. Let's move to the material. So here, I think it's very exciting line for white against Benko, which obviously everyone knows that's the starting position, the initial position of this variation. And Michael's suggestion here to play cb5 and after a6 move e3. So it's been always considered a very interesting system for white. Now why it might be worth studying the system, why not to play the main line that, let's say, recommended in my Grandmaster repertoire books. So my idea was to grab the pawn on a6 and like old-fashioned line bishop a6 is doing really well for white after knight c3, g6, e4, bishop f1, king f1. I always thought this position does not promise black sufficient compensation. However, recently black came up with a few interesting ideas. To mention some of them, I want to mention delaying bishop a6. So the line is g6, knight c3, bishop g7, e4 castle, and after the main move knight f3 there are other moves, queen a5. So this seems like played by very strong players. Recently I noticed the game of Firuja. So here, in my opinion, black is doing pretty okay. Still, I to be honest, I like white position with extra pawn, but it's a playable line. So, and I would like also to mention very new attempt is to go e6 right away. So a little bit unusual not to go for fianchetto, and after knight c3 we have e d5, knight d5, and here I noticed I was aware for many years, like for a few years actually, about move bishop e7, going for very quick development, castle, and then trying to play in the center. But recently there is move knight a6 as well. So here some interesting ideas for black. Seems like very active play. Maybe those lines are quite playable for black. So in order to avoid this line I think might be an interesting alternative. Alternative to the main line with ba6. Now, in this position, we have full coverage of major moves for black, which is ab5, e6, bishop b7, g6, and queen a5 check. So ab5 will be our main line. I would like to mention something interesting here. So, for example, we have move in this position e6, knight c3, and then there is bishop b7 is not good here, so there is e4, but e d5, knight d5. So there is this line bishop b7, which is the main move. I noticed to my great surprise that there have been several games of very strong grandmasters, including superstar Abdusa Torov, where he played bishop e7. In fact, this is already losing in my opinion, and something like only two players actually found pretty simple knight f6, bishop f6, queen d5, and white wins just second pawn. And I don't see too much compensation after rook a7, queen c5, rook c7, and queen d6. Very nice improvement here. ab5, bishop b5, and it's just white just completes development and two extra pawns. So not enough compensation. Of course, bishop on f6 is strong, but it's maybe something for one pawn, but not for two pawns. That's for sure. So that was remarkable bishop e7 mistake played by several grandmasters. So the main line here goes bishop b7, knight f6, queen f6, knight f3. So that's one theoretical position which is very important nowadays because it's pretty fashionable for black. And there is a very nice coverage here. Michael believes that white is better here, and I agree with him. Now let's move to our main line, which will be ab5. So that's theoretically first choice. So here we get this position bishop b5, queen a5 check, knight c3, bishop b7. So there is a threat knight d5. Now we play bishop d2, temporary stops idea knight d5, because after knight d5, knight d5, queen b5, we have obviously winning fork here with knight c7. So therefore black responds with queen b6, and black is okay after let's say e4, queen b3, but there is this idea to play a4 to stabilize bishop on b5, and after knight d5 to go just knight f3, e6, castle. And it appears that white has a very active play, so e4, knight e5 is coming, so very active position, and it looks very, very promising for white. I was actually, when Michael offered this idea, I was a little bit surprised that it's really worked so good for white after e3. But I mean, here's the material that he offered here, and I think it's very exciting. I noticed that there are many players, not me. I mean, I was always happy to face Benko Gambit, but there are many players who kind of like a little bit struggle against Benko Gambit, so they prefer to avoid, maybe to play second move knight f3, or maybe not to go d5. But that looks really like a good solution to study the system and maybe anticipating Benko, because we will get a very promising position, especially to compare with mainstream lines, like how to get advantage in main lines where the Slav, Queen's Gambit declined, and Nimzo, so that's pretty tough. But here we get really very promising play. So this is Michael's idea, which I'm very happy to introduce, to upload to my site. As you know, there will be PGN file, downloadable PGN file that you can purchase. Now another idea, so if you're interested in this line and maybe don't want to purchase this, so you already have some directions here, so you can develop your own file and have a great results here. Why not? Thanks for watching this video, guys, and I'm looking forward to see you on my next videos very, very soon. Thank you again.